it would be nice if I could just end up in a triangle position. If I said, hey man, stick your arm in there and I'm going to triangle you. But that doesn't happen. It'll never happen. The way we get into positions is the way we set it up. And that's going to be very important, the way you set things up. I'm going to go over some very common or some different ways to set up a triangle here. The first way is if I'm in a position here, I have a low guard, my legs are around his waist here, and he's not really doing too much. I'm going to control his wrists. Now he's not doing too much. I can kind of move around the wrist, but what I want to do is I want to get his hands to separate. So I get his hands to separate, I push one in and pull one across. Push and pull across. Boom, there's my setup. Push and pull across. Open and secure the triangle. Come through and I can finish the triangle here. Another way that I can set him up is to fake a technique. I can start here. I want to fake a sweep. So I want to come underneath his legs. Start to rotate my body around to off balance him here. Once I off balance him, I start to go him over. And no, he's either going to go over or he's going to post out, or I'm going to sweep him. Once he posts out, I'm going to bring my leg through, come over the top. Once I come over the top, I have to switch my hips. And I finish the triangle this way. So that's two ways I'm going to work on it. I can push, pull, or I can fake a sweep and try to get the triangle. Another way that I can set up for a triangle is if he's trying to pass my guard. Let's say he's trying to double stack me here, trying to push me here. What I'm going to do is, I'm in my stack here. I'm just going to raise my hips, put my hand on his elbow, this one on his hand, and I'm going to push it up, get my leg out, then pull him back down, and finish the triangle here. So those are three different ways that you can set them up. You have to be creative with the way you set up techniques because it's not easy to get techniques in. So you want to set up all your finishes with different ways, and you want to be as realistic and creative as possible. Those are three different ways to set up for the triangle. Now we're going to talk about some different setups on how we're going to finish the rear naked choke. Sometimes it can be very difficult to finish the rear naked choke because I'm behind him and he's got his hands free. And, you know, it's just hard to do it sometimes because we're battling, we're hand fighting. So we want to have some different setups so we can ensure we get the choke if we've worked so hard to get this position. I'll start here. I got my head tight to him. I'm working down here. He's hand fighting me here. What I'm going to do once he gets here is I'm going to just knock his hands back down this way and clear his hands, and I'm going to come underneath his neck here and then come and finish the choke. Now another way I can work, I'm working when he's hand fighting again, we're playing around, he's hand fighting. I'm going to take my underhook side, I'm going to grab his hand, I'm going to push it down, I'm going to come over the top of my leg, block that hand. This hand's already in position. And I can finish the choke this way. Another way is very simple. It's kind of mean though, but you want to do this to your friends because, you know, who cares about it when you're in this position. I have the back position here and he's fighting. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to come through. I'm going to lift his face up, just put my hand underneath his nose. I'm going to lift his face up, get my arm in position, then finish. And those three simple ways on how to set up a rear naked choke. Now always be creative with your setups. You can make them up. You can have a dream about them. However you want to make these things up, just be creative, be realistic, and practice them. Now let's talk about some different setups we can use for the guillotine. I'm starting off with my closed guard. You know, it's not going to be very easy for me to just wrap my head around his neck because he's going to be defending, so I have to set him up. A good setup would be, I notice his arms are on the floor, so that's a cue for me to go for the Kimura. So I'm going to get my hips out, reach up for the Kimura. When he goes to defend, I'm going to take my arm out, wrap around his neck, scoop my hips out, lock my grip, cinch, and finish the guillotine. Another setup's going to be, when he's here tight on me here, what I want to do is I want to just start pushing away and moving my hips out to create a little bit of space. So I'm going to move my hips out, create a little bit of space. He's going to try to control me. He comes back in, slip right into the guillotine. Get my hips out, rotate my elbow down, and finish the guillotine. The next setup is going to work right when you and your partner start training. And then you like to start from your knees here. I'm just going to put my hand right on top of his head, the other one on his shoulder here, and I'm just going to snap him down. The same time I snap him down, I'm going to step up. So I'm here, I start here. You can even push him back a little bit just to kind of get him to move around. Push him around a little bit, snap him down, step up. The other one steps up. And finish with the guillotine. 3 different setups from 3 different scenarios in order for you to get the guillotine. You can make them up, you can figure them out yourself, but whatever you do, practice them and be creative. Now we're going to go over 3 different situations in order for you to set up for your arm triangles. The first one, I'm going to start off on my back. My opponent here is getting a little lazy, getting a little sloppy. He's trying to put his forearm in my neck. All I'm going to do is I'm going to push at the elbow, push it across. Same time I push it across, I'm going to shoot this arm up to here. I'm going to trap it, grab from here. Don't try to finish directly underneath him. Get your hips out, get to the side, secure the arm, and finish the arm triangle from here. The next situation I'm going to work from my scarf hold. I have them nice and tight here. This way, I'm just going to dig my arm in here and push it across. Once I push it across, I'm going to turn his face over, drive my shoulder in the side of his neck, grab my forearms, flatten out, turn my head into his arm, and finish. Last way I'm going to finish the arm triangle, just a setup. There's many different setups, you can make them up, but this is one of my favorites. I'm going to start from side control here. This way, I'm just going to walk my hand up, I'm going to walk his arm up, I'm going to trap it. I'm going to put my head down the block, grip my hands, and I'm going to cartwheel all the way over. Fix my grip, flatten out, turn in, finish the arm triangle. 3 different setups from 3 different positions. Work on them, figure them out. They're all yours. Alright, now let's go over a couple different situations on how we can get the Americana from any position, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to start off here from side position. First thing I want to do is I want to start to add pressure to his face and his arm using my shoulder, both shoulders in my body. So I'm going to start coming here, and what that's going to do is going to get his arm to come up. Once his arm comes up, I'll even use my head to pin it down. Now I'm going to grab his wrist here, and feed it to my other hand here. I can lock it up now, swing over his head. Now finish the Kimura. Slide back. There's one way how I finish the Kimura. The next way I'm going to start from a modified scarf hold. Here, good position. He's not really giving me much. All I'm going to do is I'm going to jerk his arm over to here. It's going to feed it to my hand. I grab it, turn my hips back into him, stabilize my position, slide it down, and there's a nice little way on how to finish an Americana. Now, speaking of being creative, I talk about being creative on all your techniques. Your game should always be creative. Now I'm going to show you a very creative way on how to finish an Americana from a very peculiar and odd position. Okay, he has top side mount on me here, and he gets a little lazy. This way, I'm going to grab his wrist, and I'm going to figure 4 my arms right here from here. I don't want to be flat on my back. I'm going to rock my legs up, kick them back, and finish the Kimura from here. I'm sorry, the Americana from here. So I'm going to start here. He gets a little lazy. I grab his wrist, come over top of his bicep, figure 4 my arms, kick my legs up and down, and I'm going to finish from there. 3 ways on finishing Americana. Work on these guys. Practice. Now let's talk about some nice, slick entries, some concepts on how we're going to get the Kimura these nice little setups I'm going to work here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sweep him over. Now he's got two choices. He either goes over or he blocks. So I'm going to pass his head here. I'm going to get my hips out past his head, sit up, try to knock him over. He gives me the arm. He blocks it. Gives me the arm. I'm going to go down, catch the arm, and finish with the Kimura. My next scenario starts here. I'm working here. I'm working, trying to work something. I'm going to go for the triangle. Push and pull, go for the triangle. I lock up a triangle. He senses it coming, and he blocks. Now, I'm going to change my angle. I'm going to rotate over this way, grab his wrist, pull it away from his body, sneak my hand through, and Kimura. Right there. Last situation is here. I'm going to start from my open guard this way. I'm going to get my shin right inside the crack of his elbow here. Now from here, I'm trying to kick his arm up. By kicking his arm up, it's going to feed it to me for the Kimura. Here, once I get the Kimura, scoop my hips out and finish. I want to see you guys do these in practice. I want to see you guys practice these. I want to see you do these in practice and competition because I'm giving them to you. These are nice little setups. You got to work them. Practice these Kimura setups. Now we're going to take a look at a few setups, a few ideas, a few entries into your omoplata. Start here. However I want to work, I'm going to start to work. I'm going to go ahead and go for the triangle. I raise up, he goes to block. Once he goes to block, I'm going to change my angle. As I change my angle, push his face away here, reach in between his legs, grab the wrist, and finish with the omoplata. Coming up. Now, next situation. I'm starting here. I go for an armbar. Pivot over. He gets the arm out. I can't finish. He leaves me this arm. Push it in. Come through. Under the legs, flatten them out. Get my omoplata. Last situation. I'm starting here. He gives me the arm. There's my cue. Take the arm. Go for Kimura. I'm starting to work my way out. He blocks. I can't get his arm up. Now I want to push his head away. Get my bottom leg out. Swing the top leg over the top. Come through. Finish with the omoplata. 3 different ways off of 3 failed techniques. So if you fail a technique, don't let it stop you. Keep going. Use those as setups for another technique. And omoplatas always work from failed techniques. Give them a shot. Now we're going to talk about some armbar setups I'm going to use. I'm going to do it from 2 different positions. The first one I'm going to do from the top. I'm in top mount. I'm going to look down at him. I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to try to choke him. I'm going to use what we call domestic violence choke. I'm going to come down and I'm going to... Now, anytime you choke somebody or you put your hands on their neck, the natural reaction is to get off me. Get off me. So there's my setup. I'm coming down. He's getting his hands up. Now, I'm going to pivot on his chest and swing around and finish with the armbar. My next setup is going to be from here. I'm working from the top. I'm going to start from an Americana. Working the Americana here. He pulls his arm and breaks through. I'm going to push it across his face here. Change my base and swing over. Finish with the straight armbar. My last armbar I'm going to do for my back. I'm going to start here in my position. And first thing I want to do is I want to off balance him. Because anytime you have to set somebody up, you have to get them to do something that they don't want to do most of the time. So I'm here, I'm going to off balance him. I'm just going to pull both of his wrists up past my head. Now when he goes back, I have at least one shit. I'm going to pick a side, put my foot on that side, pivot, chop down, and finish with the armbar. Knees together, hammer down, finish with the armbar. As you can see, I would love to just be able to get an armbar on somebody if they would just give it to me, but they never do. So you have to make them do things that they don't want to do in order to get the armbar. That's called your setup. That's your idea. Go work on it. Now we're going to talk about some setups on how we can get the knee bar. The most common setup, the most one efficient ways that you can get a knee bar is when somebody has your back and they're a little sloppy, they're a little careless and not really paying attention. So he has my back here, he gives me a leg in between. All I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my head, go in between my legs and his legs, I'm going to load him up and spin around. Come here. Load him up, get my position, ear, trap it with the ear, and finish with the knee bar. Next position I'm going to work in order to set him up. I'm going to work from a reverse scarf hold here. And you see how lazy he gets? He's not paying attention. He's real lazy here. I'm in my position. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sit up, get the knee in, hook the foot, and come back. And let me change my angle so that you guys can see what's going on, how I'm finishing this. So I have the reverse scarf hold here, sitting up, that knee in, come hug it, fall back, trap his foot, and finish with the knee bar. Last position, I love this move. One of my favorite techniques. I'm sitting in the reverse mounted position here. He don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here, I'm going to take his legs, I'm going to squeeze them together, I'm going to fall to the side, lock my legs together, grab his heels. Just so you guys can get a better angle at this. I'm going to grab his heels, lock my legs together, squeeze my knees, and finish with a double knee bar. That's right, I said a double knee bar. And finish. There is 3 knee bar setups I want you to add to your arsenal tomorrow. Actually, add them in right now. Put them in your notebook. Now let's talk about some common entries on how I'm going to get into my heel hook, some common setups. This is a very simple setup. You know, he's on top of me, he's trying to pass my guard. I have an open guard. I'm controlling his, I got my feet on his hips. What I'm doing, I'm going to grab his foot. I'm going to swing. The same time I grab his foot with, I'm going to swing that leg underneath his leg, and then raise my hips. So I'm going to get close to him, raise my leg underneath, and then go for my heel hook. Get in position and finish it off. The next situation I'm working with, the opposite way. Now he's on his back, I'm on top of him, I'm standing up trying to pass his guard. Now when you get in this type of position, you have to make it realistic, like you're really trying to pass, or he's not going to give you his legs, and not going to be so accessible to his legs. So I'm really trying to pass, I'm working, you see how he's giving me his leg here? Once he gives me his leg, step in between, and put my knee in the center here. In the center, I'm going to sit down, control the knee, step over, get my angle. Now I'm in a good position. I'm tight on his leg, trapping this like he can't roll, rock back, finish the heel hook. Now, in this situation, if he starts to get out, I'm fighting with it, he's a little sweaty, I'm going to raise my hips, pass his foot to the other side, I'm going to turn the other way, come inside now. Now I'm going to put my other arm on top of his heel. Squeezing the knees together, staying tight, put this foot on top so he can't spin, pinch down and rotate his heel, and I'm going to break his knee. All this going to snap, crackle, and pop, and that's going to be a wrap for him. 3 setups to a heel hook. One of them is an inside heel hook. Work on them. Alright, now I'm going to give you guys some setups on how to get a straight ankle lock from this position. First thing I'm going to do, I have to give a realistic approach that I'm passing the guard. So I'm working his legs, pushing his feet down, pushing his legs in and out, trying to work. And when I do that, he starts to forget about his legs, and he just gives it to me. Once he gives me his leg, I'm going to wrap it up, push off on the shin, wrap it up for the straight ankle lock, walk into him, and finish. So I'm working here, he gives me his leg, I'm going to walk in and finish. Now, in this situation, I'm working in his guard, I get a little lazy, get a little sloppy, my feet come together, I'm a little close, and he sweeps me, double sweeps me. Come here, as soon as my back hits the floor, I'm going to cross my legs right at his hips, squeeze his knees together, and I'm going to come right under his Achilles tendons here. And I'm going to lock my hands and bridge. Now when I come under his legs, I'm going to come under just like this. Put this part of my arm underneath here, this way. And I'm going to pinch it, elbows in, pinch it down in my body, and I'm going to bridge and arch backwards. So when I get here, I'm in this way, cross my feet, pinch the knees, and bridge. Again, I'm just putting one hand over top of the other because I want this part of my arm underneath his leg here, and this part of my arm underneath his leg here, so I'm going to be here. And bridge back. The last ankle lock that I'm going to do, he has my back. This is very common. Never try to gamble with this position if you have somebody's back. As soon as they cross the feet, he's here, he's trying to go for a choke. Even if he has a choke in, it doesn't matter. I'm going to, as soon as I see the feet cross, come over the top here, this one here, and I'm going to bridge. I will never gamble. If I have somebody's back, I will never gamble with the position because he will break your foot before you get a chance to choke him out. So always, never cross your feet. When somebody crosses their feet, boom. Finish with the ankle lock. Now we're going to do some situations, some different setups, and some different timing situations of where we can use a toe hold. I have north-south position on him here. And sometimes in order for him to replace his guard, and he's got good flexible legs, he starts to kick his legs over here and get them in my face. This is exactly what I want. As soon as I see a leg, I'm going to attack it, come to the side of it, boom. Finish with the toe hold here. Thanks for the foot. All you have to do is give it to me. I was sitting in the position, he gives you the foot. As soon as he gives me the foot, I'm going to come around and take it. There's my setup. Next situation. I have side position here on him. He's lazy. He gives me the foot there. Reach around, grab it, get his stomach, finish here. Remember, push the foot towards the heel, rotate the heel up when you get it. So anytime somebody puts their foot there, there's your setup. Go for the toe hold. Next position I'm going to work, let's say you have a knee bar. I just went for a knee bar here. Sometimes it's hard to secure a knee bar because the leg has to be straight. You have to have it here. Let's say you go for the knee bar, you miss it, you get a little slippery, he's starting to try to get his leg back. I want to keep the leg here. I'm going to grab the top of his toes here, figure four the arms, and again, rotate the foot down and finish with the toe hold off of the failed knee bar attempt. There's 3 different setups on how you can get a toe hold. Write them down, remember them, figure them out. If you can't figure them out, rewind this DVD and listen to me explain it again. But I want you to practice.